Hello and welcome to another video. Today we'll be taking a look at the Soviet partisans in World War II. We'll take a look at the historical context, organization and tactics, major operations and impact, challenges and adversities, Soviet government support, social and cultural impact, historiographical perspectives, controversies and criticism, as well as some books and quotes. First up, let's start with the historical context. The German invasion of the Soviet Union in June 1941, Operation Barbarossa, led to rapid occupation of vast Soviet territories, which created fertile ground for partisan activity behind enemy lines. Soviet partisans emerged as a grassroots resistance movement composed of Soviet military personnel cut off by the German advance, local civilians, and political operatives. The initial organization of partisans was spontaneous, but by late 1941, the Soviet government began to formalize and support these groups to coordinate more effective resistance. Organization and tactics. Partisan units were organized into brigades, detachments, and smaller cells. Leaderships often included former Red Army officers, Communist Party members, and local leaders familiar with the terrain. Partisans operated in various occupied Soviet territories, including Belarus, Ukraine, the Baltics, and parts of Russia. Dense forests and swamps provided natural cover for their activities. Tactics included sabotage, blowing up railways, bridges, and supply depots, ambushes, assassinations of German officials and collaborators, intelligence gathering, and propaganda dissemination. Partisans relied on local populations for food, shelter, and information. They also received supplies, weapons, and instructions from Soviet military headquarters via airdrops and clandestine couriers. Major operations and impact. One of the most effective strategies was the disruption of German supply lines through the demolition of railway and trains, significantly hampering the enemy's logistics and troop movements. Concert and Rail War. Large-scale operations such as Operation Concert 1943 and the Rail War campaigns involved coordination attacks on rail infrastructure, creating substantial difficulties for German forces. As the Red Army advanced, partisan units often provided valuable intelligence, conducted diversionary attacks, and assisted in the liberation of occupied territories by coordinating with Soviet forces. Challenges and adversities. The German military responded to partisan activities with harsh reprisals, including mass executions, village burnings, and brutal anti-partisan sweeps. Operation Cottbus in Belarus, for example. Partisans frequently faced shortages of weapons, ammunition, food, and medical supplies. Harsh weather, particularly in winter, further complicated their operations. Issues such as leadership conflicts, ideological differences, and the difficulty of maintaining discipline and morale within diverse and loosely organized partisan groups posed significant challenges. Soviet government support. By late 1941, the Soviet government established the central headquarters of the partisan movement, CHPM, to coordinate partisan activities, standardize tactics, and ensure effective integration with Red Army operations. The CHPM organized training for partisan leaders, provided essential supplies via airdrops, and facilitated communication between partisans and the Soviet military. Soviet propaganda extolled the partisans as heroes of the motherland, using their exploits to boost morale and foster a spirit of resistance among occupied populations. Social and cultural impact. Partisans played a key role in maintaining Soviet influence in occupied territories, inspiring local populations to resist German occupation and collaborate with the resistance. Women played crucial roles within partisan units as fighters, medics, couriers, and intelligence agents, often displaying remarkable bravery and leadership. The legacy of the partisan movement is celebrated in Soviet and post-Soviet culture through literature, film, and memorials symbolizing the broader resistance against Nazi occupation. Historiographical perspectives. Soviet historiography portrayed the partisans as patriotic defenders of the homeland, emphasizing their heroism and contributions to the ultimate Soviet victory. Western historians have examined the partisans' impact on the broader war effort, often highlighting the interplay between local resistance and Soviet military strategy. Contemporary scholars offer a more nuanced view, exploring the complexities of partisan life, including the difficult moral choices faced by individuals and the often harsh realities of guerrilla warfare, controversies and criticism, partisan reprisals against suspected collaborators, and the impact of their activities on local civilians, including the destruction of villages and forced requisitions, have been subjects of historical debate. Historians debate the overall effectiveness of partisan activities, with some urging that while disruptive, they had limited strategic impact compared to conventional military operations. Issues of political loyalty and control within the partisan movement, including tensions between nationalist partisans and Soviet directives, have also been points of contention. Books and quotes. First up, some books. The Soviet Partisan Movement, 1941 to 1944, by Edgar M. Howell. It is an in-depth study of the organization, tactics, and impact of the Soviet partisan movement. Behind Enemy Lines, Soviet Partisans in World War II, by Alexander Hill, provides a comprehensive analysis of the partisans' role in the Eastern Front, including case studies of major operations. War Behind the Eastern Front, the Soviet Partisan Movement in Northwest Russia, 1941 to 1944, by Alexander Gogin. It focuses on the activities and strategies of partisans in Northwest Russia, as the name says. Hitler's Bandit Hunters, the SS and the Nazi Occupation of Europe, by Philip W. Blood. It examines German counterinsurgency efforts and the brutal anti-partisan campaigns during the occupation. Belarusian Partisans, The Making of a People's Army, by Leonid Rhine. It discusses the development and impact of the partisan movement in Belarus, a key region for Soviet resistance. Red Army and the Second World War, by Alexander Hill. It includes detailed discussions of the integration of partisan operations with Red Army strategies during the war. Now for some quotes. In the struggle against the occupiers, the Soviet partisans demonstrated unparalleled bravery and resourcefulness, becoming a crucial element of the Soviet resistance. Edgar M. Howell. Partisan warfare behind enemy lines became a significant force multiplier, disrupting German supply lines and tying down valuable resources. Alexander Hill. The partisan movement, while often overlooked, was instrumental in maintaining Soviet influence and morale in the occupied territories. Alexander Gogin. German anti-partisan operations were marked by their brutality, often targeting civilian populations in an attempt to crush the resistance. Philip W. Blood. In Belarus, the partisans transformed from small bands into a formidable people's army, playing a vital role in the liberation of the region. Leonid Rhine. The coordination between partisans and the Red Army exemplified the integration of guerrilla tactics with conventional military strategy in the Soviet war effort. Alexander Hill. Our partisan war is a people's war. It is a war of the whole Soviet people against the fascist invaders and their accomplices. That was all for today. Thank you for listening. Bye.